We're at Robert Kiyosaki's house. Okay, we're gonna do an unboxing.
As President John Kennedy said, I was in high school when he was president, and he said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And he was so inspiring. My mom and dad quit their jobs and joined the Peace Corps. My sister became a nun, and I joined the Marine Corps. Completely opposite places.
Right.
So I'm honored today to be with Hannah, one of the most powerful women on planet Earth today. And the torch is being passed to a new generation of women, who don't really need men. No,
That's right.
There's no more, there used to be a TV show, Leave It to Beaver or something. And the wife was, she's always wiping her apron and all this stuff. That was the 50s and 60s. So this is the new generation of women, and they're about to take over. So I'm very proud of you. And this is the torch I'm passing. She is a natural born teacher, and honored that she become a teacher. Any words there, kid?
Thank you so much. It's so crazy that it all started with Robert's book when I was 13 years old, and I literally have followed the cash flow principles my entire life. And that's what took me from miserable and poor to happy and wealthy.
This is the real gang here. It's a financial statement. And this is financial literacy at its purest form. And my rich dad taught me how to be an investor playing Monopoly, 4 greenhouses, 1031 tax deferred exchange, red hotels. Today I own red hotels. Today I still play Monopoly in real life. But this is the game my rich dad taught me. My poor dad didn't know this game. He was a school teacher. So Hannah, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I'll sign the game board over to you.
Hannah, the torch has been passed to a new generation of powerful women. Love you, Robert. Thank you.
So what do you think about accepting the torch?
I love it. I'm so excited. It's my greatest honor of my entire life. And I can't wait to teach the cash flow game for the rest of my life. I'm so excited. Thank you, Robert.
You are the new generation of women, self-made, multi-millionaire, and proud of you.
Thank you.
Tell us how you came across my work.
Yeah, so I came across Robert's work when I was 13 years old, literally Googling, how do I get rich? Because I came from a family, great family, but we just didn't have any money. And my parents really struggled to get by. And my dad works at a pawn shop still to this day, selling gold and silver. And my mom did night shift grocery bagging. And I was fortunate to have my own rich dad, poor dad situation and had a wealthy friend. And I was like, how do I get that? How do I build that life of love and connection and experiences and travel and abundance? And so I Googled, how do I get rich? And I found Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was the first thing that popped up. And I read that book, and the Rich Dad Principles is the exact playbook that I then followed for the rest of my life. And that's exactly what I do today. The poor and the middle class invest in liabilities, which just takes money out of their pocket, versus the rich invest in assets, which push money in their pocket. And then he talked about getting out of the rat race, which is what this game talks about, how to get out of the rat race. And when you buy real estate and you buy assets like gold and hard assets that people use, and you acquire those instead of acquiring liabilities, that's how you can get out of the rat race and really have financial freedom in your life, so you don't have to work for a paycheck for the rest of your life. And that's what got me hooked on it. And literally when I turned 18 years old, I signed up for real estate school and I started investing in real estate. I learned, just like Robert taught me, sales, public speaking, and capital raising were the 3 most important things that I had to learn. And so that's what I immediately did, was get into real estate sales, sold real estate, used that commission to start buying assets as soon as I possibly could, and then practice my public speaking and learning how to raise capital, which now I have a national capital advisory firm and get to speak on stages thanks to Robert. And you brought me on stage for the first time.
And I'd like to thank Joe Polish, for introducing us.
Yeah, Joe.
And Joe is a natural teacher also. So he's fantastic, and she's the role model for new women, and I thank Joe Polish again for introducing us.
So you always talk about, and the video that always goes so viral is being $1.2 billion in debt. Do you still feel good about being $1.2 billion in debt today?
So she's my go-to girl for debt financing. And what most people don't know is the U.S. dollar became debt in 1971. So when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, and when that happened, inflation went through the roof, So I got rich because I'm a real estate guy, but the poor got poorer. My calling has always been, how come there's no financial education in schools? I think it's one of the biggest failures of education throughout the world, and it's the incompetence of our school teaching system for not teaching financial education. Now, the good news is there are many colleges now who have whole classes dedicated to teaching the cash flow game.
Wow.
I was in Uzbekistan, great country, great people. They have a whole Central Asia University. They have a whole room just dedicated to playing the game and teaching financial education. And then I was in Malaysia not too long ago, and the Malaysian government is now installing cash flow as mandatory teaching. So the question is, why are games better teachers? Well, as Maria Montessori, another entrepreneur in education, she's a fabulous woman, the Montessori school system, she says, what the hand does, the mind remembers. So by playing this game and doing the numbers and all that, it's burning into your brain. But when I was in class, I sit there and the teacher would go like this, I attained less than 7%. School is a waste of time. So by schools adopting and changing, I'm very happy to say some schools are changing to the cash flow game and using it as a teaching tool, and then they teach money on top of that. So that's how the rich get richer. But unfortunately today, inflation is going like this because it's fake money. They're printing money, and the poor are getting poorer. That's got to stop. That's got to stop. So I'm proud to be turning over the torch to a new generation of women. 40, 50 years I've been teaching. What stops most people from learning is what they learned at home. And if they came from poor parents, they have poor habits. Their brain is already fried into, no, you gotta play it safe. You gotta get a college education, job security, and hopefully a pension, That's what is hard to change. Because what mommy and daddy taught you is who you become. Just like, if you spoke French at home, you'd probably speak French. It's the same with money. And the reason games are powerful, games include 4 intelligences. Mental, you have to use your brain. Physical, you have to use your hands. Emotional, everybody hates to win and lose, you know what I mean? But you get to control your emotion. And the last one is spiritual. When you understand you can master money, then the question is, what do I want to do with the rest of my life if I don't have to keep working for a living? And that's what happened for me. I retired, years ago. And the question is, what am I going to do with the rest of my life, I began to teach.
Yeah.
How important is it to follow your spirit's mission?
I have a doctor, his name is Dr. Radha Gopalan. And he's not only a cardiac heart transplant guy, he's got a genius, but he's also a doctor of acupuncture. And he's also a yoga master. He's a real spiritual, he's like Gandhi.
Yeah.
So Dr. Gopalan is like Gandhi, and he says, the mission of the body, our body, is to fulfill our spirit's mission. What did God send you here to do? What's in your heart that you really want to do? I hated school, I hated the teachers, but my mission was to become a teacher. of all things. I flunked out of high school so many times. I just hated it. And I flunked because I couldn't write, and now I'm an international bestseller.
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
And her mission too is to be a teacher. But she comes from the finance world, and you're the new role model for women.
Thank you.
So what I suggest, all over the world now, this game is being played. I suggest Hannah get together with four friends. Best is 5 players, 2 or 3 is okay. Play it once, play it twice, play it 3 times. And it starts to change the way you see the world. Your cash flow starts to change. But if you teach 10 people, it'll change your life. But you have to give before you receive. Most people want to receive, not give. And Hannah's a giver, and Joe Polish is a giver. We teach. So play the game at least 10 times, and then teach 10 people, 10 and 10. Your life will change. You'll see a different future.
Thank you. I can't wait to play. I can't wait to teach it all over the world.
She did all of that without playing this game. I couldn't believe it.
I know. I have not played the cash flow game, and I've been living the cash flow game, but I haven't been playing the cash flow game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be amazing.
So we're brothers and sisters at Spirit, and we teach.
Yeah.
And it's money. Other people do the things like God or how to fix a car. We teach money because money is not the root of all evil. The lack of money is the root of all evil. I learned in Sunday school, teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. It's spiritual, it's biblical. And our schools are screwing up all over the world because they tell you get a job security and AI is coming. It's going to wipe out jobs all over the world. So it's time for change, and we're teachers of change.
What do you recommend to the next generation?
We're entering one of the biggest changes in world history right now.
Right.
The central bank system, the printed money, all coming to an end. Debt is all over the world now, and people are losing trust in paper money. So the new saying I have is any asset that depends on trust will get wiped out. So if you're saving, let's say, ETFs or stocks because there's too much trust, the biggest trust is people are losing trust in America, and that's our bonds. If people lose trust in America and the U.S. bond, that BS that financial planners tell you is that bonds are safe, not true anymore. So if the trust goes out of the U.S. bond system, America goes bankrupt that fast. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope I'm wrong. But that's how close we are. America, the greatest nation in world history, but China's going to kick our ass right now.
What do you think happens if we go down?
Chaos, revolution. I've seen it before. I've sometimes been in the wrong place at the right time all of my life. I was in Zimbabwe in Africa when the Zim dollar collapsed. It was the most terrifying 10 days of my life. Chaos erupted. The blacks started to murder the white farmers and steal their farms. So I was in the wrong place at the right time watching this happen in Zimbabwe. Great country, great people. And this little white woman, I was at her house, and I'm sitting there, getting out of Dodge. And she comes running up to me and she says, "Burn my farm down, leave those bastards nothing." I went, holy shit, It's like I was in Vietnam when the North Vietnamese busted through the line, the DMZ, and I saw them kick our asses. So communism was winning. So I looked at my friend, I said, let's do it. So we got torches. This beautiful 400-year-old farm. We got torches. We started with a diesel yard. We set the diesel tanks on fire, burned her house down, and burned all the thatch houses down. Kept our promise and barely got out. So it's like Vietnam when I saw I was at the Battle of Quang. We got our asses kicked. We lost 62 men that day. So many guys thank God, I didn't get shot down, but they got shot down. I saw my friends die, and the North Vietnamese run south. And in 1975, you saw the helicopter on the roof. That was a CIA helicopter. It was taking the last Americans out of the embassy and getting out. So I've been in the wrong place at the right time. I've seen too much to stay silent. Our education system's failing us right now. They're Marxist. They really don't know they're Marxist because they never studied Marx. And Marx said it all. You know, in 1930, Columbia University's Teachers College invited Marxist instructors from Germany to teach their teachers. That was 1930. It's all historically registered. By the time I got to school in the 1960s, there was rioting all across the campuses because the teachers are Marxists. And, you know, in Kent State, Ohio, they shot 4 students. That's chaos. Order starts to break down. The same as I saw in Zimbabwe and Vietnam. I've just seen too much. So I can't keep my mouth shut. My poor dad, brilliant man, good man, 6'3", tall for Japanese, but he was a PhD, poor, helpless, and desperate.
Yeah.
And he went to Stanford and Northwestern and said, "Get your PhD." You know, I said, "Dad, you're broke." And my rich dad said, my best friend's father, rich dad goes, he says, "Play Monopoly. Use debt." So I had to learn how to use debt, find real estate, find investments, put deals together. And the highest achievement, in my opinion, of an entrepreneur is take a company public through IPOs, initial public offerings. So I've taken 3 companies public. I've been on the New York Stock Exchange ringing the bell and all that, just like Elon Musk did and all this. Yeah. Elon Musk is the greatest entrepreneur we've had in our generation. And he's South African, you know. So entrepreneurship can save the world. That's what we're the elements of this game teach us the fundamentals of entrepreneurship, the numbers. Let's show the numbers one more time. This is the foundation of entrepreneurship. Can you control your numbers? This is income, expense, assets, liabilities. Income statement, balance sheet, statement of cash flow. And you learn it having fun. You know, when I was in, I have 3 PhDs today. I hate to admit that, but our school teachers didn't understand this. My accounting teacher didn't understand this. They knew this. They knew this. They didn't know the statement of cash flow. So this is the only game in the world that teaches the statement of cash flow to everybody. And it's fun. Tough game, hard to learn. But you play it 10 times, your brain goes, "Oh my God." And as Marinta Montessori, what the hand does, the mind remembers. And in school, I was in the accounting class, and the teacher's yapping away, going in one ear, out the other. So I got kicked out of the accounting class in my MBA program because I took on the teacher.
Yeah.
I asked the accounting teacher, said, "Are you an accountant?" I stood up and I said, "I'm a Marine," you know. I said, "Don't dodge me, man. Are you an accountant?" He says, "No, I just studied accountancy in school." He had no practical experience. He didn't know how to use debt. He thought debt was bad. Like Dave Ramsey says, live debt-free. And that's good advice for most people. But you know and I know we use debt to get rich. But that takes a different mindset, different skill set. It's not easy. So the purpose of the game is to inspire you to play this game in real life, but our schools don't teach this. But thank God the universities and some schools are now adopting this game as a fundamental for the financial education courses. So far, I don't know of anybody in the U.S. who is. Because the Teachers Union of America is the NEA, National Education Association, Forbes calls America's Teachers Union the National Extortion Association. Biggest criminals going are the teachers unions. And Marx said, unions are Marxists because workers of the world unite. That was one rule. And also Karl Marx said, the abolition of private property. So you look at what's happening in California right now. Today, 2026, the rich are leaving California at high speed because the Communist Republic of California just says we're going to tax everything you own, everything. So I may have bought this house 20 years ago, they're going to tax it again. And so that's why they're leaving. California is losing a lot because the rich are leaving. Mm-hmm. Same as New York City, they're all going to Florida and Texas. Mm-hmm. But because our teachers are Marxists, America's coming down. That's got to change. So I said, why not start with the women? Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
What do you think?
I agree 100%. I think, you teach in your book that we are taught in the traditional school system to go to school, get a job, a safe and secure job, invest in your 401k, buy a primary residence, and save for retirement someday and hope that you're going to have money in your 401k or your pension, which pensions aren't around anymore. And I was scared. I was one of those students. I didn't know if I was going to be a successful entrepreneur. I was just following a book that I had read. I didn't know Robert in person. I didn't have any real life mentors. And so I did both. I literally got my real estate license, started my own real estate business, started investing in assets. But at the same time, I was still going down the path of schooling. When I read that book at 13, I didn't know if I was going to be successful. So I still had that fear and was the top of my class, earned a full ride scholarship, went to ASU, and ended up working in corporate America. And I had an engineering degree. It was the highest paying entry job possible. And I was making pretty good money. As good of money as you can in corporate America for for an engineering degree that I had. And this was back in 2014. I think I can't remember what I was making now, but it was just under 100,000, I think. And that's good money, right? But after taxes, 401k, Social Security, blah, 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 all the money was gone. And I remember literally I was sitting at my desk when I got my first paycheck and I started crying. And I called my brother and I was like, this is the worst part of the game. Just like that video where that kid's crying playing Monopoly when he has to pay his taxes. Because I realized in that moment that there's no way I was going to become truly wealthy and be able to do the things that I wanted to do, have the impact that I wanted to have, and live the life that I wanted to live if that was the path that I was going to do and have 3% annual increases each year and have half of it going away off the top right to the government and to Medicare and Social Security, all those things. And then I replaced that income very quickly from my passive income from following the principles of the cash flow game and from Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I started buying assets, renovating them, adding value to them, using good debt. The tenants were paying back that debt, paying for that debt, using the tax strategy as a real estate professional to offset my earned income, and then cash flowing from the tenants. And as soon as my rental income replaced my job income, I was able to quit my job and have financial freedom and successfully get out of the rat race, and the rest is history.
What changed my life was teachers, and I was in Sunday school at 7 years old. I was bored stiff as usual, but anyway, you look up ADHD, my picture's there, I get bored so fast. That's why I hated school. But anyway, my Sunday school teacher asked the question, says, why were the three wise men wise? I know that answer. 7 years old, raised my hand. She goes, why? I said, because they were rich. And in Methodist Church, rich is a sin. The love of money is the root of all evil in my church. She goes, why do you say they were rich? I said, one had gold, frankincense, and myrrh. I said, that stuff costs a lot of money. She goes, that's not why they were rich. I said, well, tell me what it was. She says, the three wise men were seeking the best teacher. I'm not pushing religion either, but it was Jesus Christ. They were seeking him. The birth of Christ, Right. And so 7 years old, I said, I better find a new teacher because my old man's a professor. He's broke, PhD. poor, helpless, desperate. So when I was 10, I met my rich dad. I said, my teacher's here. And he broke out his monopoly. I had to work for him for free. Because if I didn't work for free, he says, if you work for money, you're an employee. You're a peasant. So the rich don't work for money. I went, what? And then he'd break out the monopoly game. And he'd go, the secret's on this game here. So I had to work for Rich Dad for free, picking up rubbish, because he owned hotels, pick up stuff, help people check out and all this. He would sit down and play Monopoly with his son and me. And he says, 4 greenhouses, tax-free exchange, 1031 Red Hotel. And that's one of the biggest advantages about real estate is the tax-free exchange. You can't do that in stocks. So I make millions and not pay taxes legally because I invest in real estate. I use debt. So let's say I buy a property for $1 million, goes up to 10 million. I don't sell it because then I'd have a capital gains tax. So it goes from 1 million to 10 million. I'll borrow out 5. And because it's 5 million on debt, tax-free. That's the game that Monopoly, well, my rich dad taught me playing Monopoly. Yeah. But in school, they don't teach you that. They teach you get a 401k. Risk it, most horrible, horrible thing you can invest in. Or this guy Obama, student loan debt to get higher degrees. I would never use student loan debt. It's the most onerous debt possible. Terrible. But these Marxists, like Obama and all that, they're making our kids poorer. So what happens is the poor kids get a student loan and they're in debt for the rest of their lives. And I'll say one more thing about Marx. He says, the essence of spreading communism is a graduated income tax. Marx knew that taxation would spread communism. And so in 1913, I believe, the Federal Reserve Bank was created, which is Marxist. Anything central bank, is Marxist. But at the same time, the IRS was created. For most of our lives, America has been tax-free. America was founded in 1773 with the Boston Tea Party. It was a tax revolt. Yeah. But the Marxists kept taking over the poor people. They become bureaucrats with their PhDs. They don't know anything about this stuff here. They don't know anything about things. They don't understand debt because they've been told live debt-free. And now we have, California in 2026. The rich are leaving California at high speed. They're leaving New York. And they're moving to Florida and Texas because Marxists have taken over California and New York. Mm-hmm. That guy Mondami, he's a Marxist, purebred Marxist. He admits it. Social Democrat. Yeah. And so our schools are pumping out Marxists, like my poor dad. And so we combat that with financial education outside the school system. You don't have to go to school to play this game. It costs you a lot less than a college degree.
Oh, yeah.
If you play it 10 times, you teach 10 people, you might have a chance to become Hannah.
I wish I would have not gone to college. And no regrets, but wish I would have just dove in straight into cash flow and buying assets and going all in on selling real estate and increasing my network and my skills like public speaking and capital raising. And I would have gotten a lot farther a lot sooner, but it's exciting.
And she's the rising star. She was just on CNBC. It took me until I was 50 to get on CNBC. She's already there.
Thank you.
So I'm so proud of her. I'm going, she's a rising star, teacher, and just honored to have her become one of, be partners in teaching. Because by education, we can, elevate the financial well-being of humanity. Right now, there's cash flow games all over the world being played. Different languages, Japanese, Chinese. There's even going to be one in, I think, Muslim, Arabic. It's coming, but we can change the world with a game. So that's one of the benefits of games, and games are great teachers. You can play as long as you like, as hard as you like, and the teacher doesn't ask for overtime.
Yeah.
That's the teacher. And it's about, it used to be $200, probably about $50 or whatever. Now it'll change. If you play it 10 times, teach 10 people, you'll see a different world.
Most people are terrified of debt, but you talk about the difference between good debt and bad debt. How much debt are you in, and why are you excited about that?
Debt became money, 1971. And then these financial planners, I think it takes 7 days to become a financial planner.
Yeah.
7 weeks, I think. And they tell people bonds are safe, U.S. bonds. Well, there's no safety from stupidity, you know what I mean?
Right.
And trust is going out of American bonds, so is Japanese bonds. So the world is going to change big time in 2026 and beyond. So financial education, hopefully, will be a part of that change. I'm not saying the school teachers are bad people. They're like my poor dad. They just don't know. They just don't know. I went to military school. The first book I had to read at military school was the Communist Manifesto. And I asked my economic teacher, so why am I studying the Communist Manifesto? He says, know thy enemy. And I spent the rest of my life fighting communists. Unfortunately, I killed a lot of them. With fight, a Marine pilot. Lost a lot of friends. But we fought to stop communism in Vietnam. And that's why I was the wrong place at the right time. When the North Vietnamese broke through the DMZ, it was the Battle of Quang. We got our asses handed to us. And I was a carrier pilot at the time. I'm sitting on the carrier that we were shot to hell, I think we lost 6 aircraft and 60 something men, and it was horrible. And they're trying to keep our spirits up, I raised a question. And the colonel said, yes, Lieutenant. I said, how come their Vietnamese fight harder than our Vietnamese? Because the South Vietnamese turned and ran, and the NVA came down. NVA fight differently. It's really interesting. They hold their AKs like this and shoot. They're deadly accuracy. So they're trained differently too. I'm going, I see my friend going down. War was a good thing for me because I grew up, and I said, I'm going to keep fighting. But I want to know why the communists fight harder than the capitalists. Why did the North Vietnamese fight harder than our South Vietnamese? Because we got fat and lazy, I think,
Yeah.
Too comfortable. So I don't hate the enemy. I have to respect them. They're doing the same. They came from families and all this. So that's why I keep fighting for capitalism. We teach, this is a capitalist game.
If you were 25 years old right now, what would you be focused on learning?
Every day, I'm working, I'm learning, I'm reading a new book. But the thing I respect about Hannah, after I met her, I said, oh my God, I want to get to know you better. And I kept calling her. She goes, no, I'm in a seminar. So I call in a week or two, oh, another seminar. She's in seminars, which is what my rich dad taught me. He says, don't go to school, go to seminars. Learn from real teachers. Teachers that practice what they teach. The problem is most teachers teach what they read in a textbook. So they lack the hands-on experience. And that's a big thing. Choose your teachers wisely, but always get educated. By the way, there's a fabulous new book out. There's 3 levels of respect. Number 1 is self-respect. And that's what you have to learn, right? Self-respect.
Yeah.
Number 2 is respect of your friends. But number 3 is the respect of people you respect. So you can see in my room, Oprah calls me, Trump calls me. I respect those guys. And people hate Trump. He's a good friend of mine, you know. But when people you respect you, that's a third level of respect. So this friend of mine, Jim Rickards, who's a man I respect immensely. Not that means most people. He was LTCM, long-term capital management. His hedge fund nearly brought down the world economy. Brilliant, brilliant man. I call him the fire hose. When he speaks, the guy's a genius. He always worked for the CIA and Defense Department, teaching him. He sent me a book, says, please read this book, review this book. So I got the pre-publication copy of The Entropy Trap. The Entropy Trap. The book blew my brain apart. It's the book of today, The Entropy Trap. I've read a lot of great books. Entropy Trap is the book of today. It's so current. It talks about Hormuz and Iran fighting. The price of oil going up. What's terrifying is inflation's going to go up and then we're going to collapse. Happens all the time. And then we'll have Zimbabwe or South Vietnam because our schools are Marxist. Good people, but like my poor dad, they don't know anything about money. So that's why we teach. We're fighting Marxism by teaching capitalism.
What about Gods in Disguise?
Well, that's a powerful book too. Gods in Disguise talks about what are the attributes of God. Number one, besides kindness, compassion, number one was knowledge. The number one attribute of God in this book, Gods in Disguise, I think it's Alan Walter, the name goes, was they seek knowledge. And that's why I feel sorry for people who leave school hating it like I did, or people who stop learning because it was boring.
Mm-hmm.
So another reason why years ago I created this, 1996 I created this game. In 1997 I couldn't sell the game. Nobody said, it's a stupid game. I couldn't sell it. So to sell the game, I wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Mm-hmm. The book took off and the game follows now.
Yeah, 40 million copies later.
You know, most teachers tell you make mistakes, you're stupid. Well, the way you get rich is making mistakes. Mm-hmm. Learn from your mistakes, move on. Learn from your mistakes, move on, you know. In flight school, every single day, I was at Camp Pendleton, California, on the way to Vietnam. Every single day, we practiced crashing because the odds are we were going to go down. They had us doing things that were so terrifying. Like at Camp Pendleton, there are these two trees. The helicopter blades are this big. And our job was to come, turn the helicopter and go through the trees this way. My younger brother was in the back seat that day. He was in the Air Force, came to visit me. I can still hear him screaming. But every day we crashed 3 times. Wow. So I crashed 3 times. And the third crash, I broke my back, but it became automatic. Just, oh, okay, I'm crashing. Engine quit. Good thing.
Wow.
So I think the next biggest mistake of school, they teach you don't make mistakes. Mm-hmm. Humans were designed to learn by making mistakes. A baby learns to walk by standing up, falling down. Learn to ride a bike by getting up, falling down. You know, don't make mistakes. Make mistakes, you're stupid. Mm-hmm. They're the stupid ones. They make no mistakes. Arizona State here is a horrible school. I was there teaching with Charlie Kirk. And the professors, 39 of them, came after us. Why are they doing this, you know? When Charlie Kirk got shot, I know who took him out.
Who shot Charlie Kirk?
I suspect that those 39 professors attacked us. A woman named Carrie Lake, you know, she was and Senator Anthony Kern from here took up our cause. And they called a hearing in front of the Senate of Arizona. And they asked those 39 professors to show up. The 39 professors went, who do these professors think they are? So I just kind of verified my whole contempt of school. Mm-hmm. It's Marxist. Remember, Marx is abolition of private property, income tax, And what's the third one? I forget. But America's getting poorer because our school systems are Marxist. They've got to change. And thank God there are certain teachers changing, like the university in Uzbekistan, Central University, and Malaysia are adopting whole programs to teach this game. But meanwhile, the Marxist professors at ASU, to you, they didn't even show up and send their occurrences. How dare they? They're above the law.
Yeah.
Because they have PhDs. Poor, helpless, desperate Marxists. Not bad people. It's just different economic philosophy. Capitalism is opposite of Marxism. A big, big difference. So I had to study Marxism, capitalism, and that's why I teach capitalism. You're going to start teaching capitalism with, Joe Polish all over the world. We changed the world that way. We raised the level. Because America, I hate to say this, is about to enter a depression. Very close. So that's that book, The Entropy Trap, will explain why, how you protect yourself. It's called the biggest wealth transfers in the world. The people that are rich today will probably be poor tomorrow because they're investing in, let's say, paper that lacks trust. That's when the financial planners say U.S. bonds are safe. I said, not from stupidity. And that faith in America is going down. So gold and silver, Bitcoin, they hold their integrity. So that's why I own gold mines and silver mines. I take them public. And I have millions of shares of stock. They're my shares. I don't buy shares. I only sell shares. So that's why one of the goals I had was take a company public. So my first public company was on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and then NASDAQ, and then New York Stock Exchange. So I rang the bell on the New York Stock Exchange.
That's so cool.
Greatest days of my life.
And then real estate. You're doing what's that deal we're about to do where you're going to put down $1 million through a 1031 exchange so you don't have to pay taxes and then buy a cash flowing building.
Your house is not an asset because you got to pay for it. But even today, I'm looking for bigger real estate deals because I make so much money. If I don't buy real estate, I pay taxes. But where did I get that money from? I take a property, it goes from $1 million to 10 million. I borrow out 5 million, let's say, tax-free money because debt is tax-free. And I buy more property. I can't do that with a stock. Well, some of you can, but that's how I do it. That's why when I graduated when I was getting out of the Marine Corps, my rich dad had me take real estate courses and finance debt, how to borrow money and how to communicate, which fits, because the difference between rich and poor is a different language. Different language. I was in Machu Picchu not too long ago. I was going, wow, look at this place. And when I come to Little Inca, and we're looking at Machu Picchu, and he said, do you have a question? I said, yeah. So Little Inca took me to a secret place. There's a rock with a hole in it. He says, look through this hole, and the question you're looking for will come to you. So here's this rock, not a big one, but a hole in it. Okay. So it's Machu Picchu, 1 level, 2 level, 3 levels. And so I said, my question was, what separated the 3 levels? This is, hundreds of, how many years ago Machu Picchu was built. And the Inca smiled and he says, language. He says the poor spoke the language of a farmer. So they couldn't speak to anybody else. But, it's tough. The second tier spoke the tier of kind of business and, making money, shop owner, stuff like this. I said, what about the top tier? He says, Quechua, the language of money. I went, wow. So what made the rich rich was not money, but words. Financial literacy. We speak the language of money, and that's what capitalists speak. So it's been around for centuries. And now AI is coming. Going to change the world again. And all those people who are going to school for job security, gone.
Yeah.
It's going to be chaos. Well, you got to buy things that hold value. I buy gold. I own gold mines. I own silver mines, and I own oil wells. They're tangible assets that hold their value. A bond doesn't hold its value. And a financial planner will say, bonds are safe. It's only as safe as the guy issuing it. In my world of gold and silver and oil, there's no counterparty risk. In other words, gold doesn't need to be money with anybody's blessing. It's money. J.P. Morgan says gold is money, everything else is debt. Yeah. That's true. But as a school teacher, go to school, get a job, save money, get out of debt, and put your money in a 401k. My generation, boomer generation, got wiped out. Because the 401k started in 1974. The boomers are the first generation without a defined benefit pension plan. A benefit plan cannot crash, but defined contribution can. 401ks, IRAs, they can crash. So this crash we're entering right now in 2026, many boomers will be homeless. That's your house, not an asset.
Yeah.
So very treacherous times. At the right time, right teachers show up, like you.
Yeah. What about ESBI?
ESBI, book one was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Came out in 1997. This came out in 1996. But nobody would buy it, so I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And the second book I wrote was the Cashflow Quadrant, ESBI. E stands for employee. S stands for self-employed or small business. B stands for big business, 500 employees or more. And I doesn't stand for, I stands for insider. The reason I like real estate is I'm an insider on the deal. Insiders have more control. When I take a company public, I'm an insider. People with a 401k or IRA are outsiders. But it takes financial education to become a B or I. So I have thousands of employees. I don't need a job. And I'm an insider.
Yeah.
I put my own deals together. That's what that teaches. Yeah, coming out of the whole video series, that'll teach us, more, because video is the way to go, like that guy does.
Yeah.
Just the future. That's the new teacher. So I'm working with a guy named Matt Lights, and he's an AI genius who does video. So we're coming out as teachers, but real teachers, not fake teachers.
Well, it's really cool now to AI, you can continue to teach forever, even long after you're gone, because our AI clones can live on and keep teaching our principles. With AI video now, we can keep teaching long after we're gone, which is so cool.
Yeah. The game is an artifact to keep teaching. The book's an artifact to keep teaching. You and I be gone, they'll keep teaching,
That's why you keep telling me that I need to have an artifact, and you already wrote the foreword to my book that I'm working on.
She needs an artifact. And your first thing was self-esteem, right? I know her dad, we're the same business, CNC Silver. I go to him all the time. I didn't know Hannah, I wish I did, but I was like,
yeah, except he's my poor
buying
dad.
silver from him.
He's my
So
poor
anyway,
dad, and he's my rich dad.
It's a different. What was that?
Nothing. I said he's my poor dad.
He knew the game. That's why silver has intrinsic value. Gold has intrinsic value. It has integrity. It holds a shape. It doesn't need anybody's blessing it for it to be money. A U.S. bond requires somebody to bless it. So when those financial planners tell you bonds are safe, I said, nothing's safe from stupidity. Easy answer, but it's true.
Yeah.
The hardest part is this. When I look at Machu Picchu, were you raised there, here, here? I have the toughest time with poor people because their mommy and daddy taught them poor ideas. So I talk to my brothers and sisters, I go, college education. We send our kids to the best schools around. I said, buy stuff. No, we save money. We don't use debt. That's what my dad taught them. Rich dad taught me differently. So I love my brothers and sisters, but we're different people. I did $100 million deal the other day. I think I showed it to you. I have no idea what it is. 100 million. It's not big money, and it's not like Elon Musk business. Elon Musk's trillion. I'm just millions. But the mindset's the same. But when you talk to people from the bottom layer, mommy and daddy sing louder. The middle layer is often their education sings louder. And the top women speak the word Quechua, the language of money. I don't know if people said Quechua's not it, but works for me. That was from that's Peruvian. That's the sign of an Inca ruler. There's always to us a good side and a bad side. And she was asking me about gods in disguise. Very important book because it talks about what makes God God. And number one is seeker of knowledge, then kindness, stuff like that. It talked about the problem with knowledge. It's called an ascension experience. You go, the trouble with going up is your good side gets stronger, so does your dark side. And that's why you see a lot of rich people go up, or like, football players or basketball players, movie stars and all that, and something happens and they come down. Because as your good side goes up, what God's in disguise, your dark side also goes up. It's going to be very careful of that one, So a very interesting study, lots of information that don't really teach in school. And this, I love bling, I have the same watch.
Yep.
And the worst thing you can tell somebody is live beyond your means. Study can expand your means.
You mean live below your means?
And good thing, I took my black Bentley and Bentley convertible. I said, I'm kind of bored with this car. So I took it to a dealer, and sitting next to it is a blonde Bentley. I like blondes. I went, how much is that? And, everybody says, live below your means and nice cars depreciate. Lie. Toyota, you drink from the falls. But collector cars go up. Certain cars always go up. So he liked my Bentley. Sitting next to was this blonde convertible Bentley. I said, oh. Now we trade? He goes, sure. So we traded. And he gave me $35,000. I only paid $70 for my Bentley. How did I get $35,000 back? He says, you have the best engine. I said, I'm a dumb shit. They don't own an engine. My brother was a really good mechanic. I didn't own a car. You mean the engine was worth that much money? He goes, yeah. So the blonde Bentley doesn't have the good engine. So I got two cars. With the 35, I kept buying another car. I still made money.
That's the way to do
By
it.
trading in one car.
Yeah.
So when you enter that world of the rich, it's a different world. The hard part is what your mommy and daddy told you. Were they poor, middle class, or rich?
Yeah. Moving
You
from
can see pictures of
scarcity.
Donald Trump, and we're good friends, good man. His sons are great kids. It's time we have financial education. And because the schools aren't teaching it, we'll teach it. But we're real teachers. We practice what we teach. She practices what she's going to teach.
Yeah, moving from scarcity to abundance is the hardest thing. You know, rewiring the mind when you're raised in scarcity and fear, and that's your driver behind everything that you're doing. And it's so hard to create what you want and realize your dreams if you're living in fear and scarcity. You have to learn the skills, change your mind, think positive, think big, change the way you think about everything, and understand anything truly is possible. I think, therefore I am. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So, well, thank you, Robert. Thank you.
Proud of you. This treasure was given to my dear friend Fernando Gonzalez. He is from Peru. And I've learned a lot from Peru. So thank you, Fernando.
The man in the arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat. Theodore Roosevelt.